Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of TRAX Off Grid. It's Friday, video day. The day we kind of look forward to because we get to show off some of the stuff we did. Not that we like to brag, but we just enjoy what we're doing here at the shop. So let's take a walk inside the beast. Let me show you guys what we got done this week. We had to get a lot of the major incidentals that have to be done on this truck roughed in. So as we talked about last week, we were going to start with the plumbing. And as you see, we got our fresh water, cold water supply, hot water supply in to the hot water tank. We also went ahead and I made all the, what they all on the back of these tanks is like a Christmas tree. What you have here is you have your hot water supply going in. You have your cold water supply, sorry about that, guys. You have your cold water supply going into the tank and your hot water supply coming out. There's a quarter turn ball valve on the hot water side and down on the cold water side, and another one right here in the middle. Now, some of you probably are asking, why do you have one in the middle? So with these tanks, you have to winterize these trucks sometimes, if that's the case, if you don't use it. So you got to drain the tank. You got to shut off the hot water and the cold water side and open up this middle quarter turn ball valve right here. What that allows for, guys, is so if you hook up air to blow your lines out, you're just circulating through the lines and not going into the tank. It would take forever. And not only that, when you fill up that tank, you're going to get to a point where you lose a lot of the pressure going through the lines, and it would take extremely long to blow the lines out for winterizing. So you just drain that again, like I said, blow the lines out, and you're finished. And then you can open up your faucet still. You're still going to have a little bit of water in there, but normally what we recommend to people is to go ahead and use some of the RV antifreeze. And you can run that through your lines prior to blowing them out. That way, if there is any water or residual sitting in a low spot in the lines, it shouldn't freeze up. Most of that stuff's rated to about 50 below zero, so you should be fine. So let's move on over here into the truck. So then what we did is we ran into the back of the shower, and we made here, and I have one in Optimus as well. You just can't see it because it's behind the fridge. This is an access panel. We're going to leave that cut out, and we'll put one of those spring-loaded access panels here. So that way, again, if the client has to get to the distribution valve, quick and easy, unscrew, pull the valve out, put a new one in if it's broken or clogged up, back on the road really quick. There's also going to be quarter-turn ball valves to isolate the shower controls, the toilet controls, and over to the sink. So we'll put two here. Again, you can shut off the sinks controls then for hot and cold. Two over here to shut off the cold and hot for the shower. And then what we did here, guys, we had to make a change up with the toilet. We're actually going to be flipping the toilet 180 degrees and having the toilet facing a different direction. But we ran this supply for the water to the toilet so you can flush it through the ceiling, and we're going to come back down through this wall. There's two pluses to this. One, it keeps that line inside even more protected from outside cold conditions. Otherwise, we would have had to run that on an outside wall and would have to do a lot of insulating to keep it from getting exposed to extreme cold and possibly cracking. I mean, we can't guarantee everything 100%. But by doing this and bringing that inside, this ceiling is actually going to be dropped down about 3 to 4 inches, which will leave a lot of space for the electrical and that water supply line. Because we're actually going to be cutting, like I said, that vent here, we're putting the light inside. Now, to the reason why we had to flip the toilet. If you guys remember, right here, there's a window. That's what the client wanted. With that being said, we had measured it out, and we were going to put the toilet in this side with the outside door to remove the black water tank for cleaning. Well, we could still do that, but what that ended up doing because of the placement of the toilet, it only left about 13 to 14 inches of standing space right here for the client. That's not a whole lot. So I made a phone call to them and I said, if we flip the toilet 180 degrees, we actually put the access door inside. You can pull the black water tank out, and out you go and dump it. Some people are probably thinking, isn't that going to make a mess and you're bringing black water inside the truck? Yes and no. Actually, no. Yes, the black water tank would be in the truck. No, it won't splash out. Thetford cassette toilets, and I'm not sponsored by them. This is not a plug for them or anything. It's just what we've seen with the use of them. They are a completely sealed cassette. With that being said, the way this cassette works, and I can show you guys in another video maybe next week with the one in Optimus, the cassette has two shut-off flappers inside. When you shut the bowl flapper, you shut the main trapdoor inside the cassette. When you pull the cassette out of its location, there is another flapper door on top that slides over that lower door, and you have two gasketed seals there. You cannot drain the tank either without turning the dump neck, unscrewing the cap, which has got a gigantic O-ring in it, and then on the back of the tank, you have to press a pressure release button to allow for the air inside to even let the tank start to pour out. Otherwise, it's kind of like a milk jug, and it will gargle, and then it will splash and make a mess. So it's a very clean system. There will be no splashing coming inside. And again, I talked to the owner at length about this, and he's completely on board with our decision on this. So again, the door will be here. It's the same color as the paneling that's going in, so it's going to blend in nicely. And it's going to work out great to where then they'll add about, this will be 20 to 22 inches of standing space right here. That is an incredible amount for a RV shower for smaller RVs. I mean, there's some larger RVs that have full, two-person showers in them. But anyway, with that being said, that was our decision. We went with it. He's happy and so forth. Then we went into another issue with the electrical, and it wasn't anything that we're doing wrong, but if you guys remember, I talked about putting chases in here and maybe one coming down here. Well, again, we had to make a quick change, called the client. They were fine with this. This entire ceiling in here is going to be removable from the front all the way to the back. This is actually a really cool idea, because then what that allows for is the client can unscrew the panels, drops them down, can make a repair if they have to, or if he wants to add something else, he can run it all up in these areas here and have access to it. It's not hidden. It's not tucked in behind something and makes it hard to pull through or whatever. And again, that will all tie in back over here. It goes down behind the fridge, comes out to over here, and as you see, we started pulling the lines, and we'll put the distribution panel in there and tie everything in. So this worked out well for us. We are going to have a chase right here coming straight down, which will have an outlet here and a plug as well. And if you guys recall, like I said, they're actually putting a countertop, a fold-down countertop here, and that will allow for them to go ahead and plug in if they're using a blender or something. They have an outlet here. So then I made a decision on my own for the client that we're going to go ahead and run another outlet to the back over here. If you guys remember, this is where the Happy Jack is going. And we're going to run another chase down the wall with another outlet right in this general area. So when they're in bed, say they want to charge their phones or on a sound machine or clock or whatever, they're going to go ahead and have that area to do that with right here. They're actually made a change up on their dinette, and I'm not going to get into that. That's their personal decision on that. But once we get the truck done, then we'll talk about what they went with there. And it was actually a really good decision on actually getting rid of the dinette completely and going with another system. And again, we'll get into that into another video. So guys, we've got a lot of the utilities started in here. And then this coming week, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut in the gravity feed fill for this, the tanks, the city water side fill. So when you go to an RV park or a campground, you just put your hose in with the restrictor valve on it, tie into city water, and you're all set. We'll have our drain like an Optimus. It comes out over here for our overflow for the tank. And then on the gray water tanks that we custom make here at the shop that a couple of clients have had us ship out to them, they used on their builds that they're doing, we're actually putting one in this truck, and it's going to be a larger one on the driver's side, because if you guys see, everything is on the driver's side. So there was no sense putting another one here. Optimus's bathroom's over here, so that's why we had a gray water tank on this side for the shower. But we're going to put a larger gray water tank on the other side, which will carry quite a bit of fluid. We calculated out, it's roughly 45 gallons of gray water, which is quite a bit. So, that way they have the way to just use the quick drain on the gate valve on the gray water tank, and they're in business. So, again, guys, Hope you enjoyed the video. Hit subscribe, hit the like button, hit the dislike button if you didn't like it. Again, like I said before, we want to hear even the negative feedback so we can make changes to whatever it be, or use some of that constructive criticism for future builds so we can make the builds a lot more user-friendly for the people as well. If you need to get a hold of us here at the shop, the email is info@traxoffgrid.com, or check us out on the web, traxoffgrid.com. If you email us, give us your name, number, we'll be sure to get back in touch with you guys. If you need to get a hold of us here in the shop, our phone number is on our website. And again, we'd be more than happy to help any of you guys out with the build you're in process with, or if you want to get a hold of us about building you a truck, please do so. So guys, have a great weekend. Stay safe again. Enjoy the time with your families, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.